and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Batman 3 Jokers, issue 2 by DC. Now, there is violence, fighting, beating, blood, murder, killing, dangerous chemicals, mutilation, and more violence in this one, and destruction. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Seriously, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, when we left off in issue 1, Red Hood was standing above one of the 3 Jokers, hoping that he was the right one, after he shot him in the head. And one thing I forgot to mention was that the 3 Jokers are actually labeled in the comic. One of them, which is this one, on the cover, was labeled the criminal. Then another one was labeled the comedian. And I can't remember what the third one was labeled. I think he's number 3, actually. But the one that I can't remember the label of, he's the one that got murdered by Red Hood in the first issue. So yeah, they're labeled. So one down, now we're left with the comedian and the criminal. So we started this issue off in a regular looking neighborhood. We see a house, and then the Joker, the second one, the comedian, has arrived at this nice little house in a truck or something. Now, it looked more, I think a van. Anyway, he arrives, he goes inside there's a nice looking lady, made dinner. She's nervous, she says, "Oh honey, you came early, I already have dinner ready." And then she goes and calls their child. He's like, "Oh great, where's Junior?" And you see at top of the staircase, there's a little young boy. He's got a similar hairdo to this Joker, but obviously his hair's not green. Now he doesn't want to come down, but his mother persuades him that, she can't keep the Joker away from going upstairs forever. So he goes down, the kid's not too cheerful, and the mom's like, "Oh, honey, octopus is not his favorite. That's what they're eating." And, you see him, I know how to turn that frown upside down, the comedian Joker tells him. And we see him eating, but it's all just a delusion that's in his head. Because from, him eating with this family, we see suddenly it goes back to reality, and he's eating cat food and sitting next to a ripped stuffed teddy bear and a mannequin of a woman. And then the Joker, who is labeled the criminal, arrives and asks him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm having dinner." And the criminal's like, "With whom?" And he's like, "With the family." And he says, "There's no one here." And then the criminal approaches the mannequin, and the comedian says, "Don't touch her." And the criminal tells him, "There's no one here. There's no her. None of this is real. Come on, we need to continue. It was your idea to leave a clue for Batman, to leave a trail for him to follow. And look where that ended us up. Now, that Joker is dead. Now there's one less of us, and we need to continue with the plan." And that's what they do. 1 second. Let me just make sure I have the order correct in there. Okay, wait, yeah. Alright. And then we see, now we go back to that, there we go, the clown. That was his label. Oh, and he was number 3, sorry. Yeah, the clown. So he's, we see him then go back to him. We see him laying dead. His brain's filled out and flies around him. Then we go to Gordon. Now, in issue 1, he called Batman towards the end, said they got another Joker probably. So Batman arrives. It's a house of a former something judge, some kind of judge. And inside there are Jokerized dogs. 3 guard dogs that the Joker poisoned. Batsy goes in, he sedates them. One cop outside is asking for that, what are we going to do? And Gordon's like, he's already inside. He means Batman. Batman sedates them, he says, call animal control, and they go in. Now, this judge was apparently a corrupt one, and ironically has a humanitarian award. He's basically been sending criminals to Arkham, I think, for cops or something that paid him. And the Joker has sickened his own guard dogs on him, one of the Jokers. And apparently he's also been, Batsy mentions that later, his own, the Joker toxin's been used on him too. So that's why they probably, whoever reported thought the Joker was in there. So yeah, they need to look into it now. Gordon says how nothing's changed, and then Batgirl arrives and says she must talk to the Batman privately. And Batman's like, oh, and Gordon asks, did the Joker escape? Then anyway, Batman and Batgirl leave, and she tells him what Jason has done, and she's furious, and she tells him, you gotta stop Jason, we gotta do something, and Batman is strangely very calm at this. I thought he too was gonna blow a gasket or something over this, but he's just calm and thinking about it. Jason, fair enough, has been through a lot. It's not just one bright day, just lost his marbles, but still you think Batman would think something, because he tells her, what are you gonna do? You're the only witness of him killing that Joker, one of the Jokers. And if he's arrested, then he's gonna have to be unmasked. And for you to testify, you're going to have to be unmasked. We'll leave it for now. And she tells him, Bruce, why didn't you, do something after all that's happened? And Bruce tells her that he was hoping that Jason would have been like her. Because Barbara has been traumatized by the Joker as well, and been hurt by him, but she got out of it with time. So he was, I guess, hoping Jason would be the same. But again, none of them really knew that he was alive. I haven't read the origin of how Red Hood came out of the Lazarus pit and all that, so I'm not 100% certain what happens there. He got out of it, and then what? I don't even know what, issues that is, but who knows? But, yes, anyway, now they need to, they need to go somewhere else now, he's telling her. And she thinks they're going to follow Jason, but they don't. They go to Blackgate, the prison. Wait, before that, we go back to, so Jason is beating up some more Joker goons, trying to figure out where he is. And on the last one, there's some residue of a pool, and now he knows where to go to get them. That's what we see Batman and Batgirl going to Blackgate. So it's the criminals there. The criminal that Batman wants to see is Joe Chill. He is the man who has murdered his parents all those years ago. Okay, yeah, he's the one that murdered the parents. And he breaks into his cell. I bet the guards are gonna love having to fix that later. Yeah, he breaks in, but Joe Chill isn't there anymore. And then Barbara says they moved him, he's in the hospital wing. And he has some sort of stage 4 cancer. I don't specify which cancer, but he probably has weeks to live. Now, the reason they went there is Bruce didn't tell this to Batman, but he found fingerprints of Joe Chill on the humanitarian award that belonged to the judge. Because before his dogs attacked him, he's been plunged in the head with that thing. So someone went in, and Batgirl's like, how is that possible? And I'm thinking, Batgirl, you work for a detective. It's you can falsify evidence, right? Because you can get fingerprints off of someone and somehow plant them on something, and I do believe that's possible. So that's what happened here, because he's been Joe Chill has been in the hospital for 2 months, so there's no way that he would have been able to, in his condition, leave the hospital and even escape Blackgate. So then from there we go back to Red Hood. He's located this pool. It's a building that's sitting up to be demolished. So luckily there's no one there, or so it seems. It's locked and chained up, and he pulls out a crowbar from behind his back. And okay, I gotta ask, how the hell does he move around with a crowbar, like right there? Like where his spine is? I mean, okay, you get like pushed into a wall. Isn't that gonna fucking hurt? And how is that comfortable? He pulls it out of the back of his jacket. Oh, wait, what? I feel like that's a little unpractical. Anyway, moving on, he breaks in, he's wondering what happened, and he goes into the room with the main pool, and holy shit, the image. The pool is full of bodies of men. All of them hit with the Joker toxin. Now, it has been a while, so Jason says that it's safe enough to breathe the air, so he takes his red hood off. And it is just something. It's a scene from a horror movie, literally. And Jason is looking around like, what the fuck is happening? And then one of those poor bastards, 1 second. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, one of those poor bastards that's in the pool, rises and grabs Red Hood's ankle, and Red Hood kicks him and let go of me, you freak. Oh, come on, Jason. Think of the poor bastard there. And Jason pulls out a gun, and I'm pretty sure it just has the click sound, but I think he shoots him, and the guy falls back into the pool, and I'm pretty sure he's dead now. But then, behind him, the two Jokers, the criminal and the comedian, arrive. And they grab him. And they take him away, and they also take his helmet. And they're saying, I think you will be perfect. And then I think then we leave. We go back to Batman and Batgirl. Right? Sorry, a lot happens. No, not yet. We go to Jason wakes up, he's tied to a chair and he's naked with the two Jokers. They're at him, what's going on? And they're you'll make a perfect Joker. Okay, wait. Okay, let me... Alright, then after that. Yeah, you'll make a perfect Joker, and then... The Joker, who's the criminal, is talking to him, and he seems to be, to an extent, level-headed almost. I think he's still got the crazy, but I'd say he's more like the Joker in The Dark Knight, the movies that, I forgot the actor's name. Shit. Anyway, the Dark Knight trilogy is more like that Joker. He's more cynical and level-headed because he talks to Jason. It looks like they know who Jason is now. it looks like the goal of what they're doing is to make another Joker for Batman to fight. That was like, well, shit. At first I thought they stole those chemicals just to essentially just turn a lot of people, but it looks like they have a specific goal in mind. And it seems it is to make another Joker, one that's going to be better than they are. And he tells, well, it could be you. Because, you've been hurt by Batman, you hate him, you might be perfect. And then Jason, I forgot what he says, but this Joker, the criminal, starts to laugh. And he's doing his best to stop. And he tells him, let me tell you a secret, it hurts when we laugh. Yeah, interesting. I guess it makes sense, right? That the jaw's broken and all the muscles, Jesus. Again, this one seems level-headed. So he stops laughing, and the Joker, the comedian, arrives. And he took Jason's helmet and he drew a Joker smile on it and he puts it on him. And then, we thought, you would be perfect after what you went through. You hate Batman. You took my mantle. It would only make sense for you to become the next Joker after becoming the Red Hood. Oh boy. But then the criminal Joker says, but it looks like you're not it. You're not the one we need. And then the Joker, the comedian, says, I think you can still have potential. Then he starts beating him up with the crowbar, saying, this time around it's even more fun. And then he hits him, and then things go fully red. Then we go back to Batman and Batgirl. Batgirl, breaks another set of doors into the pool. Batman's like, we could have gotten in more quietly. And she says, well, if Jason's already here, then he certainly didn't. And he's like, good point. And then Batman hopefully thinks, tells her, well, since this place is said to be demolished, hopefully there are no innocents. But then they see the pool, but it's been drained now. All that chemical water has been taken out of it, it seems, because it was full. And then they see everything like, the fuck, and then all of those men that the Jokers have taken are there. They start going at Batman and Batgirl, and it's like being attacked by zombies. And they grab at him, and Batman and Batgirl do their best to fight them off, and shit, what are they gonna do? They need help. The victims. There's a lot more victims there. But then some of them grab Batman's tool belt, and they press something, and Batman grabs Batgirl by the hand and pulls her away, because they press the button and summons the Batmobile, and it drives right in through the wall, basically, I think, killing most of them. I love how the rubble flies in one piece, really big, strategically covers the groin. I do love those moments, the strategic covering. But yes. Now then, after the dust settles, it's obvious Jason is not there. The Jokers took him somewhere. They need to find him. The reason they've found his location was he went into the Bat computers, accessed them afterwards. So after that, and then someone says, help me. And Barbara, freaks out and is like, Jason. And we see the poor bastard there, and he's like, not Jason. And then he dies. And Barbara's freaked out because she thought that was Jason. But then they keep looking through the building, and they see there's a door there marked with either red or blood, and it says on it, oops. So they go in there and they see Jason. He's on the ground with his hands tied. I think they cut his hands free because Batman's like, Jason, are you okay? And Jason suddenly gets up and of course he starts yelling, I'm not okay. Do you think I'm okay? And he starts, babbling what the Joker tells him. And the helmet, he takes off his Red Hood helmet and throws it at Batman. One eye of it is smashed in. And Jason's freaking out. And Barbara approaches him and she said, Jason, let me help you. And she hugs him while they kneel naked on the ground. Then they go to, I think they're at Barbara's apartment. Because at first I was confused where they are. By the way, if you guys hear any noise, sorry, it's my grandma's telly. Okay, yeah. Am I alright? And he yells at him, you put me on this path. And then, right now, I just want to get you someplace safe, as Barbara tells him. Yeah, then they get to her apartment. Barbara puts him to sleep there. And then she tells him, Bruce, he needs you now. And he says, there's a few leads, we need to keep following them. And he tells her, Barbara's Jason safe, let's keep everyone else safe. Okay, blah, blah. Okay. Then, later, I think maybe some hours later, Jason wakes up. Jason wakes up, he's confused to where he is. And he's, looking. And then he sees, in the closet in the room, something shiny. And then he, sees that it's a wheelchair. And I think he realizes where he is. And he opens the closet door, and he sees an old calendar there of Barbara right after she's been injured. And she, all the markings, all the things that she wrote down, all the appointments, the physical therapy, everything that she's done during that time where she was injured. And now slowly you see her calendar is getting empty of them. And then he looks at a pile of books. One of them says Chronic Pain Management. And because of everything that happened to Jason, the beatings, he has bad nerve damage, pain that won't go away, and his only outlet is hurting other people. You see, I thought about that after I read Death in the Family. Let's say if Jason would have survived, what would he have been able to do? Because the damage to his body was very grave. Not only has he been beaten to a pulp with a crowbar, he's also somehow survived an explosion. Surprised his insides weren't mush. So, would he have really managed on? But who knows, maybe if Bruce knew that he was alive and he was there with him, helping him, physical therapy, all of that, maybe. But, yes, anyway, so Barbara dealt with things, something somewhat similar. She wasn't killed, beaten, but she was still shot into the spine. So he looks at it, then later Barbara returns. She's like, Jason, she thinks he left, but then he comes out of the shower. She sees that he read her book, Chronic Pain Management, and he tells her, I hope you don't mind. I used your shower and I read that book. It seemed helpful. She said, yes, it has been very helpful. And she tells her, Jason, I want to help you. We wanted to help you if we knew that you were alive. Because she tells him, how these people... Because he asks her, why did you keep the wheelchair, the old pages from that calendar? It doesn't hurt to look at them. And she said, yeah, at first it was, but then reminded me of the positive in this tragedy. All of the people that were there for me, that loved me, that helped me through it. She tells him, again, if we knew you were alive, we would have helped you. I want to help you. And he says, well, no one ever said that to me. Right? That's what she tells him. Basically, yeah, she tells him, I want to be there for you. And it's like, no one ever said that to me. And then they kiss, which I thought was, because I know she and Nightwing had a thing, No, we shouldn't have done that. She tells him, I care. Yeah, there you go, I care. And she's sorry, she really is, but, I care. And then now they need to get back on the case. The Joker's hurt enough people, and so have you, she tells him. And he's like, yeah, okay. Then we go to the Batcave. Batman's looking at files called missing criminals and then missing clowns, and we see photos of the criminal, the clown, and the comedian. Like all the three Jokers that arrived. And we go to Blackgate. There's a fire. The room where Joe Chill has been is somewhat destroyed, and then we see Joe Chill with one of the Jokers. I think it's the comedian. Yeah, it's the comedian. And he's like, well, what are you doing? Why'd you take me? And he's like, well, Joe Chill, I know how to, let me help you warm up a bit. It's chilly. He puts his hat back on, and he picks up a camera and says, well, come on, Joe Chill, it's time to confess. The real reason you killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. And that's it. That's where the issue ends. Ooh. Okay, so first cover is I think I might mention in the first video. I have the A covers, so it's gonna have the Jokers on them. This is the criminal. I think on the first one it was the comedian. I think on the third one it's gonna be the clown. So there you go. You see, old criminal Joker here. Heath Ledger. There we go. I remembered his name. The actor. May he rest in peace. You see, there's the house. There's the Joker arriving. See, it's kind of almost like a mail car. And there's this woman. I think this might be the Joker that was going to have a family. The one that, because one of the origin stories, the art is always fantastic. Yeah, the one that, in the origin story, he had a pregnant wife or girlfriend. I think wife, and it was a struggling comedian, and then she died from an accident or something, and he had to do, he still had to do this criminal thing to get money, which turned him into the Joker. So I think maybe it's that Joker, and he's hallucinating, the family life he would have had, maybe. But yes, on with the story. Well, what a continuation. I guess I wouldn't have figured them making another Joker. I just thought the whole plan was, to poison as many people as possible with the Joker toxin. That's where my mind went. But looks like I was completely wrong there. It's interesting them making another Joker. And again, it raises the question in this particular storyline, where did these other Jokers come from? Have there always been more than one? As it is the question that's raised in the comic, or has one of them just made more? Why do they want to make a new Joker for Batman to fight? Where are these Jokers planning to go? Yeah, what's going on? Maybe I'm wondering if them kidnapping Joe Chill was to create At first I thought when he was kidnapped, oh, are they gonna make him the next Joker? Which wouldn't make sense, he's dying. The toxin won't save him. So who would they, unless they want to make Batman into a Joker. Maybe have Joe Chill admit the real reason will make Batman go berserk? And then they turn him, or what? What is the point of that particular thing? I mean, there's a lot more issue left here, so I'm just wondering where it's gonna go. Because they wanted to make another Joker again. I wish we'd finally find out where did these old Jokers come from. Here in the coffins, my dad. You know, where did they come from? What are they doing here? What is that all just make another Joker? In that case, why reveal themselves? That there's 3 of them. What are they trying to do? Interesting, because again, they're all the Joker, but they're all so different. Like, the comedian and the clown, I'd say, are, well, the fucking nuts. The clown more so than even the comedian. Seems like the most, well, level-headed of them is the criminal. So yeah, it's a very curious story there. Where is it going? What are they going to do with the reveal of why Joe Chill killed his parents? Maybe after that they're going to reveal the other Joker they're trying to make? Well, whatever's going to happen is going to have to be wrapped up in the final issue. So I'm very much looking forward to see where this goes. Like I said, I'm really enjoying the story far more than I thought I would. So yeah, that's left to be seen in the last issue. I think I've mentioned everything I wanted to say. I think I did. So yeah, this ought to be interesting. What happens with the 2 Jokers? Will they be captured? Will they both be killed? Is suddenly a 4th one going to spring out? Who knows? Well, we'll see in the 3rd issue. Alright, folks, so that is it. Let me know what you thought of Batman 3 Jokers issue 2. And remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!